This week, we got the third report in the city of Aurora's consent decree. It was put in place in November of 2021, 2 years after the death of Elijah McClain, in an effort to create reform within Aurora's police and fire departments. Here to talk about this more is our 9 News legal analyst, Whitney Traylor. Thank you for coming in.
Sure thing. Good morning.
So this consent decree is a legal binding agreement. Talk about why it was put into place.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's one of the first in the country of this sort, because what happened was after Elijah McClain and, of course, George Floyd, we passed the police accountability bill, and part of that gave the Attorney General, Phil Weiser, the authority to investigate departments that may have violated folks' constitutional rights. And so they did this investigation into the Aurora Police Department and found a number of violations, a number of excessive use of force, especially against people of color, things of that nature. So the city and the Attorney General entered into the consent decree, and the consent decree mandated that there be an independent monitor, and that independent monitor is supposed to essentially review their policies and review the various mandates that the Aurora Police Department has to follow. And so the independent monitor twice a year will release a report. And that's what happened recently. We just got a report released for the time period of August to November of last year.
So this is the third report that came out. From what I understand, there's like 12 points that they have to hit by a certain amount of time. But what's your takeaway from this latest report that came out?
Well, there were some problems. So here there were 58 mandates, and the independent monitor found that the APD had hit 11 of those, but about 28 or 29 were on a cautionary track. And a lot of them were about adopting policies related to things like accountability, use of force, contact numbers in terms of the demographics and when use of force was used and against whom. And so that's a problem that they didn't hit it. So the biggest issue was that they missed these deadlines, but the independent monitor also praised the department for having a constitutional policing policy, which is helping the department understand when and why they can stop people, because that was a major issue with the Elijah McClain stop, of course.
Is there any grace given, though, to Aurora right now because they didn't have a chief for so long and then they're transitioning to this interim chief for now? I mean, the fact that they didn't hit these at those times?
It's a great point, and they mentioned there's been 5 chiefs in the last 3 years, and even now this is an interim, and so that was a problem. But they did go out of their way to say that the executives and the interim chief, they all are on board with making some reforms and seem to be moving in the right direction. Although there's a lot of community activists who would disagree with that, and they said, look, under the consent decree, there's still been a number of issues, including an allegation that an officer, hit a disabled woman over the head, and another, not an allegation, the drunk driving charge, that officer was actually promoted. And so they're saying, well, this is just more lip service, but this is 3 of 12 reports. It's supposed to go on until 2027, so there may be more progress made.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking to you more when these reports come out. And this consent decree is available for people to see. This is the virtual meeting information as well. It's on Zoom. It's on Thursday, February 16th at 6:30 if anyone wants to tune in and watch that as well. Thank you so much for coming in.
Sure thing. Good to be here.